Okay, let's look at how to solve a 3 by 3 matrix with Cramer's law. So again, we start to get coefficients of these equations. So you'll notice that there's no z in the first line, so that's going to be plus 0z. And there's another y, which is plus 0y. So make sure that the x, y, and z variables are aligned. And then we create the A matrix, which would be 2, minus 1, 0. The x is, second equation is 1, plus 1, minus 1. And minus 1, 0, and 2. The variables are going to be x, y, and z. And the answer matrix is going to be 5, minus 2, and 4. So you'll notice the matrix form of the system of equations. If you multiply this matrix with the variable matrix, it's going to be 2 multiplied by x, which is 2x, minus 1 multiplied by y, which is minus y, 0 multiplied by z is 0. Same with the second line, it's going to be 1 times x, 1 times y, and minus 1 times z, which is the x plus y minus z. So we get the system of equations again. So remember, the equation for x is going to be the determinant of ax. Remember, we can use the straight lines to show determinant as well, and divided by the determinant of a. So remember the previous video, we said determinant of xy divided by the determinant of a. So this is the same way, the same thing, we're just writing it differently. And y is going to be determinant of ay divided by a. And z is going to be determinant of az divided by a. Okay, let's start and get the determinant of the A matrix. So let's start with determinant of A, which would be the determinant of 2 minus 1, 0, 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1, and minus 1, 0, and 2. To solve this 3 by 3 matrix, you can look at the video of the with the determinant of 3 by 3 matrix. So we take any row or column. So we're going to take the first row. So this will be 2 multiplied by the cofactor of 2. Remember, the cofactor of 2 would be anything that's not in the row and column of 2. So in this case, it's the 1, minus 1, 0, and 2. So these 4 is not in these rows. And the determinant of this would be sorry. So the next item is minus 1. Remember, the second item is always a minus, so it's minus minus 1, which would be plus 1. And once now we take the cofactor of minus 1, which would be 1, minus 1, minus 1, and 2. And then the last term is going to be 0 multiplied by the cofactor of 0. I'm going to write this down, but when you solve this, we don't have to write this one, because 0 multiplied by the determinant of this 2 by 2 matrix is always going to be 0, because we multiplied by 0. So now we can get the, so next we just calculate the determinant of this 2 by 2 matrix. It's going to be 2 minus 0, which is just 2. So that's only going to be 2. And then 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. And this minus 1 is plus 1. Multiplied by minus 1 is plus 1. So it's minus the plus 1, which is 2. So this will be 1. And then you've got 1 multiplied by 0, which is 0. Minus 1, which is then plus 1. So this is only going to be 1 as well. But remember, this is going to be 0 times 1, which is 0. So there we get 2 multiplied by 2, which is 4, and 1 multiplied by 1, which is 1. So the answer is going to be 4 plus 1, which is 5. Now we need to get AX. Okay, let's use AX. Remember AX, we substitute the X column, which is this one here. We're going to substitute with the answer over there. So we're going to have 5 minus 2 and 4. And then the rest is going to be the same. And now we're going to, let's use the first line again. So we're going to have 5, and the cofactor of 5, remember, is everything that's not in this column and then that row. So it's going to be these four items or elements. And then remember, it's minus whatever this is minus 1, so it's going to be plus 1, and the cofactor of this one, remember this row, this row and that column. So it's going to be those 4 items, minus 2, minus 1, and 4 and 2. And then plus 0 multiplied by the cofactor of 0, but we're going to just leave that out. Of course, we know it's always going to be 0, like this term. Okay, so let's just do the quick calculation here. 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. 0 multiplied by minus 1 is 0, so that's just going to be 2. Minus 2 times 2 is minus 4. Minus 4, which is plus 4. So this is going to be 0. So this 0 times 1 is 0, so 5 times 2 is going to be 10. So now we've got a determinant of AX. So we always also need the determinant of AY. So let's look at AY. And now remember, AY is we substitute the Y column with the answer column. So we're going to substitute this with this. So the first is the X, which then stays the same. The Y, which is going to be 5 minus 2 and 4. And the Z, which is 0 minus 1 minus 2, which is 2. Okay, so let's take again the first row. So we're going to still look at the first row over there. And we're going to say 2 multiply the cofactor of 2, which is minus 2, minus 1, 4, and 2. Minus 5, remember it's always a minus for the second element. And then the cofactor of 5 is going to be 1, minus 1, minus 1, and 2. And then the last one is 0 multiplied by the cofactor, and that's going to be always 0. So let's just get the answer here. So again, minus 2 multiplied by 2 is minus 4, and minus 4 minus minus 4, which is plus 4, so that's also going to be 0. And this one is going to be 1 multiplied by 2, which is 2, and minus 1 multiplied by minus 1 is plus 1, and we need to subtract that, so it's going to be minus 1. So that's just 1, and the answer there is minus 5. So now we've got everything that we can solve. We've got X and Y, and the last one is we need a Z. Okay, and again, a Z is going to be the X elements. The Y element stays the same. And then the Z element, we substitute the answer element, which is then the answer matrix. Okay. Then we can solve this. So now you can see the first row doesn't have any zeros. So let's just take the third row. So remember, the signs for determinants going to be plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus. So the third line will be plus, minus, plus again, or we can use the second column, which is going to be minus, plus, minus. So let's take the first row. So I'm going to the third row, sorry. So we're going to take this row, and we're going to start with minus 1, with minus 1's cofactor. It's going to be minus 1, 1, minus 5, and minus 2. Second term is going to be minus 0, which is still just going to be 0. And then last term is going to be plus 4, and the cofactor of 4, which would be 2 minus 1, 1, 1. Okay, and then we can calculate the answer here. Minus 1 times minus 1 is 2. 1 times 5 is 5, so it's 2 minus 5, which is going to be minus 3. And then the second one is going to be 2 multiplied by 1 is 2, and minus 1 times 1 is minus 1, so that's going to be minus minus 1, which is plus 1. So this is going to be minus 3 times minus 1, which is 3, and 3 times 4, which is 12. Okay, let's just make sure about that. Yes, okay, and then if we add this together, we get 15. So now we can solve the equations. X is going to be determinant of AX, which is 10, divided by determinant of A, which is 5. So 5 divided by 2, sorry, let's get back there. So 10 divided by 5, which is going to be 2. AY is minus 5, and A is, the determinant of A is 5, so that's going to be minus 1. And AZ is 15 divided by the determinant of A, which is 5, which then is equal to 3. Okay, so this is how we solve the 3 by 3 equations with Cramer's law.